हरिः ॐ शं नो मित्रस्यं वरुणः शं नो भवत्पर्यमा शं न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शं नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now we are going to the very important aspect of spiritual astrology, how the planets behaves with us, how the planets work on the individual level and in the personality level, how to overcome the individual levels and enter into the personality level, and then how to overcome the personality level into the soul level. These are the things Master explained in a very beautiful way. So first of all, let us deal with the planets and the behavioral patterns. Behavioral patterns means our own behavior with our individual nature. That is what you have to understand here. When we are behaving with our own habit forming nature or with our own behavior in the background of the individual nature, how planets work. Master is explaining here, the degree of conditioning becomes less and less and the area of our independence become bigger and bigger as we know how to do our own duties towards ourselves, our family, our office and our friend circle, and then if we begin to work for our nation, our independence will be widened. He has given a very beautiful the pattern here. First of all, I explained in my previous lessons very clearly, when the conditioning nature is becoming less and less, our independence, not individual nature, you please find the difference here. Independence is different from the individual nature. Don't be confused with the individuality and the independent nature. What is independence here? When we are becoming bigger and bigger in the independent nature, what happens? We know our duties towards ourselves first. What is towards ourselves? Toward ourselves means not with any conditioning mind, not with any selfishness or limitedness. And we should know the duty about ourselves first, our family, and then our office, and then our friends circle, and then if we go further, if we begin to work for our nation, our independence will be widened. We start with ourselves. And what we start with ourselves, every day we live only for ourselves. Whether earn the money or eat the food or doing some job or whatever we do for ourselves. Here it is different. Ourselves means not only the physical body, not only the vital body or the pranic body, not only the mental body or mental plane or buddhic plane. Ourself means totality of all these things. That means really if you wanted to live ourselves in a perfect way, in a natural way, we have to do a lot of things. We have to think about our physical body, how to strengthen the physical body, what are the things we do, what are the asanas we have to practice, how to keep the physical body fit to work very efficiently with all the energy, without any lethargy or without any weakness. It is not so easy. And if we want to make our pranic body, vital force, intact, we have to practice pranayamas, or we have to practice a lot of things. We have to practice chanting with chanting Om and all these things we have to practice. If you wanted to make our mental plane fit, that means you have to read the books, meet the great people, understand the teachings of the great people, try to bring those teachings into our life in a very, very harmonic way, and live beyond all the emotions and all the limitations of the five elements, five senses. This is how to think about ourselves. It is not so easy. Then our duties will be transferred towards family and then towards office. Somebody working in the office with all the responsibility is different from a person who works only for the money. You find a lot of difference between these two people. One person work in the office as a duty, as his responsibility, and he work sincerely. Other person who works only for the money, all the time he thinks about the money and how much he is getting, and all these things he will try to keep in his mind, accept the work responsibility what he has to give. So this is in the office and friend circle. And then if you begin to work for our nation, then ourself is over, family is over, friends are over, and then office is over. Then slowly and slowly, when your consciousness expands, what happens? We try to think about the nation, our country. So if the country is safe, we are safe. All these years until we come to this stage in the evolution, all these in all our births, when we are in the individual level or in the personality level, we think about ourselves and our family, our earnings, our comfort, all these things. When once you cross one level and another level and another level and another level, when we come to a stage to think about our nation, then thinking patterns will be changed. How we will think? If the country is safe, we are safe. If the country is clean, we are clean. If the country grows, we grow along with the country. If you go further, if our earth, where we are living, in the evolution, earth goes to the next stage of evolution, all the beings of the earth, they also go to the next evolution without our knowledge. So our thinking patterns, our mind slowly travels upwards and try to understand the greater things. That is what Master explained in a very beautiful way. Independence will be widened. The independence will be widened. What is independence here? Independence means we will not be caught, or we will not be conditioned by any emotions or by the five senses or the sensory organs. We are not conditioned by our jealousies, by hatred, or selfishness, or misery, or competition. We should never be conditioned by all these things. Then only we will be independent. That is the meaning of the independence here. Okay. Then, when we begin to work with the forces of nature as scientists, Master went to the next stage, you see. When we begin to work with the forces of nature as scientists, we have to work with the forces of the nature as a scientist. This is the beautiful sentence. Working with the nature means so many farmers will be there all the time, they work with the nature. So many artists, they will be there, they will work with the nature by doing the paintings with different beautiful colors. Isn't it? Some people, they work with the nature, going to the forest and listening to the birds and listening to the waves of the ocean or the river or whatever it may be. They are also working with the nature. Here Master used a different word. We begin to work with the force of nature as a scientist. This you have to understand the word scientist. How the creation has come into existence, how sun is created on his own, how after the sun is created, all the planets, how they have come into existence, after that how earth has come into existence, what about the stars, what about the pole star, what about the great bear, what about the laws of nature, how the nature is going on, who is supporting it, who is doing it. So if you understand a little bit, if you understand even with a common sense, a small bubble enter into the uterus of a woman, becomes a baby after 10 months, how it possible? If you think about it. A small seed becomes a huge tree, how it will be possible? All the planets, all the stars, staying in the space without any base, without touching each other, how they are surviving there. If once we put our mind there, and it will be a surprise. That's why Master always used to say, Master E.K., whenever we think about the nature or the universe, why it is like this, we should not question like that. There is no meaning for why it is like this. He says you have to think in a way how it is like this. This is the way you have to understand about the nature and about the universe. If our consciousness is slowly expanding, we start with our duties, our responsibilities towards society and towards the nation, or towards humanity, and then slowly we will think about the nature, about the universe, about the creation. We will try to understand about the nature and the universe as scientists. This is the way we will understand this paragraph of the master. So when we begin to discover the secrets of nature, only to make better use of the world. Why scientists mean these planets will open our eye towards the secrets of nature and then begin to discover the secrets of nature, only to make better use of the world. When once we think like this to understand about the nature like scientists, the planets open our eyes into the space and then only to make better use of the world. Only to make the better use of the world. Suppose we misbehave with the knowledge we have and begin to make wrong use of the right scientific secrets we have, the nature puts a barrier upon us once again. When the planets open our eyes to make us understand the secrets of the nature, the law of the nature, the law of the universe, the secrets of the universe, if we use it for a better purpose of the humanity, in a constructive way, it's okay. Otherwise, if you use it for a destructive purpose, the selfish purpose, then again it will put a barriers. It will again takes births and births again to open these windows towards the universe. I will give you one small example. Atomic energy, we can do a lot of things with atomic energy. But we can also distract millions of people with the same atomic energy. This is how we understand this. We can use the power in a constructive way or in a destructive way. If we use any power in a constructive way, it will be useful to the humanity and to the nature and to the globes. And if we use it with a destructive nature, with all our selfishness or competitive level of understanding or whatever it may be, the entire nature will be, entire universe, entire nations will be destructed. The war is the example about it. Atomic weapons and nuclear weapons are the examples about it. That's what Master is explaining here. The humanity goes into competition between nations and the result is mass-scale suicide in the name of international wars. But in the eyes of the planets, it is no loss, but all because what we call death is not death at all. All these problems come to us, planets, they won't care about it. Because planets has given a lot of things, lot of powers to the human being. It is for the human beings and the humanity or the human beings, the individual, to use it in a constructive way. Otherwise, you have to face the music of it. The planets, they don't bother about it. That is what Master explained in the lesson 41, the planets and the behavioral patterns. It is one of the most important lessons. So here, I conclude with one or two important points. The first thing is we have to grow from the individual level to the family level to the group level, and from the group level to the national level, from the national level to the planetary level, from the planetary level to the universal level. We have to grow like this with our understanding, with our way of doing things, open ourselves towards the space and towards the great beings, and try to live independent with all the independence, not independently. We have to try to live with all our independence without being limited to all small petty things. Number two, when we try to understand like this, when we try to live like this, the same planets will open a lot of things inside within us. Then we can understand the laws of the nature and the beauty of the nature and the powers of the nature and so many things. Then we will be in a position to serve the humanity much more and much more better. That is the essence of this lesson 41. లోకా సమస్తా సుఖినో భవంతు. లోకా సమస్తా సుఖినో భవంతు. లోకా సమస్తా సుఖినో భవంతు. ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి.